Lots of love for my crew that is. You know.
Soldier boy, tell.
What's going on? Welcome to the Fantasy Football Garage. How we doing tonight? You already know what time it is. We're live, kicking off a Best Ball Mania 5 draft from the 11th spot, Sunday night. How we doing, everyone? Welcome to the stream. I'm Chris, the Candyman. Hope you're subbed to the channel. I'm going live, streaming best ball content, drafting all summer long. Hope you can come join us on some of these drafts. It's a great time out here. I'm having a lot of fun. This is like my, 30-something. I'm in the mid-30s for Best Ball Mania 5 drafts. Been doing a few poodles today. We'll see how this BBM 5 draft goes. Maybe do a couple poodles afterwards. We'll see how it goes. How we doing tonight? Drafting Best Ball Mania 5. I was taking a look at my exposures earlier today. Some of my top drafted players across all of the tournaments since the NFL draft are Mark Andrews, Tank Dell, Nico Collins. Who's the fourth? I've got plenty of Xavier Worthy. What up, Tyler? How you doing tonight, man? Thanks for joining the stream. Hope you're having a fantastic Sunday night. We're kicking it off with the BBM 5. AJ Brown goes 7th overall. Okay. What value is going to fall? To 11. What up, Off the Schneid? How you doing, man? Thanks for joining the stream. Hope you're having a great night. A lot of Houston, a lot of Baltimore stacks. For sure. Yeah, having a great Sunday. Been touching some grass, exercising, chilling with the fam, watching a little golf. Glad to see my boy, the man, the GOAT, Scotty Scheffler gets another W. Let's take Breece Hall at 11. I love the discounted price on Breece Hall. I'm cool with taking Breece any pick, around 7 to 11 all day long. That could end up pairing well with Josh Allen later. Josh Allen usually makes it to the back of the third, start of the fourth, so maybe setting something up. Running backs are going a little bit later in this room, with Bijan going 9, Brees 11, Gibbs at 12. Drake London goes. Easy click. Nico Collins season. I do like to sprinkle in some Devontae Adams, Marvin Harrison, Brandon Ayuk, Jalen Waddle in this range. But I'll take Collins in this draft. Let's see what we can get.
I got lots of love for my crew that is.
Yeah, I've definitely got a lot of Texans and Ravens players so far. That's a game I've been targeting. I've got a lot of Rams and Cardinals, Lions, 49ers, just some of the games that I'm kind of naturally drawn to. Oh, and the Commanders and the Falcons. I've been drafting a ton of Jaden Daniels. I think Terry McLaurin is still undervalued. Could be a really solid wide receiver 3, or if you get him as your wide receiver 4, it's a really solid option. Stack him up with Jaden Daniels. I like Jaden Daniels as kind of like the last kind of bailout running back you can take. Has a lot of rushing upside. Maybe you missed out on Kyler, you missed out on the first 4 elite quarterbacks. So that's kind of the way I've been playing it. I'm excited to see kind of how this Best Ball Mania draft's going to go. The Poodle drafts there's been a lot of wild ADP fallers that you can scoop up in the Poodles. I don't know that you always get that in these Best Ball Mania drafts. This room is pretty badged up. 11 out of 12 badges drafting. Prime time Sunday night. Hopefully that means we can get our correlated players, our stacks, and line some things up. Have a little bit more faith in the room that they're not going to snipe us on our QB or our tight end. All right, now that I started with Brees, we'll see what values can fall to me in this range from the 11 spot. Pretty sure I'm going with more of a hero RB build. Is generally how I'll play it out from here. Some of the targets I'll be thinking about for my next pick would be obviously Zay Flowers, Tank Dell. Could be, honestly, if Derrick Henry's there, he's a consideration. Lamar's a consideration. Brees, Nico, Max vibes. Yeah, I'm definitely liking that. One of my favorite things to do has been to sprinkle in Nico all across the second round, and then you get him paired up with guys like Puka or Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb. When Nico Collins is your wide receiver 2 with one of those guys, to me it just screams upside. But I don't want to miss out on these the top running backs either. I think the first 4 running backs I'm drafting pretty much evenly. Not skipping out on any of those first 4 guys. When it comes to Saquon and Jonathan Taylor, definitely 2 running backs I'm underexposed to. I don't have a lot of Saquon. I don't have a lot of JT. I take him on occasion. Tank Dell goes. Devonta Smith is sometimes a faller who makes it to this corner. Zay Flowers goes the pick before me. So could be Derrick Henry, and then I go for I haven't been building it out that way particularly. It's not my favorite way to play it. Having to dig out at wide receiver. Pick 35, decent value on him though. So start with 2. I'm going to start with 2 running backs. We can either go hyper fragile from here, or just wait on our third RB for quite a while. See what we can do. I'm surprised. There's definitely a wide receiver heavy room. We knew that with Brees falling to me in the first round. But it's already pretty much dried up in the fourth. I could take a T. Higgins. I could take McLaurin. Pickens is a guy I don't have a ton of. I don't think this is going to be the Josh Allen team. Well, it could be. Let's see if we can make it happen. What are the odds that Kincaid comes all the way back around? Slim to none. A rare start. Not really a build I've been taking. Only one wide receiver through the first 4 rounds. So let's get creative now. What this means is, yo, what up, Meatwad, GM. Hope you're having a great night, my man. Thanks for joining the chat, for saying what's up. We're drafting Best Ball Mania 5. Midway through the 4th round, and all of a sudden there's a run on QB, so I'm kind of glad I did take Josh Allen there. 3 picks later, Anthony Richardson goes to the Michael Pittman Jr. team. Kind of a reach, but get your guys. What up, Raphael? Smash the like button. Appreciate that, my man. Make sure you're subbed to the channel, everyone in the chat. And I'll be streaming all summer. Might be tough to catch me. I don't know what my schedule's going to look like yet. So if you're down, throw on those notifications. Come hop in some drafts. Draft with me. Draft against me. We're going to be here all summer. Just vibing, drafting, taking Josh Allen in the 4th. It's Josh Allen in the 4th round, just from a historical perspective, is an amazing value. He's been a top fantasy quarterback, consistently scoring a ton of points. The issue here is how much draft capital we've allocated to wide receiver through the first 4 rounds. I really got to make up for it, and I don't like wide receivers in the range where my next couple picks are. Usually when I'm in the mid 80s, and then the mid 80 picks, where I'm going to be next, 83, 86, typically I'm going QB or running back in that range. It's right after the tier of the elite tight ends finish up. Paying homage to Hit Me With The Gritty with the hero wide receiver build. LOL. Yeah, man. Hit him with the gritty. I'm a huge fan. That's some high T drafting. It's a lot of fun. Not my personal style, but I love to watch it. To see it unfold. There's a couple drafters. The guy in the 6th spot with Justin Jefferson's got a really, really solid start. 4 wide receivers through 4 rounds. And then I was going to comment on the guy in the 3 spot. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Malik Neighbors, and Amari Cooper. How did the room let him take those 4 receivers? He stacks on Xavier Worthy with his 5th pick. He's got 2 of the best rookie receivers. He's got the Dolphins targets consolidated with those first 2 picks. Amari Cooper with the bring back. I'm pretty jealous of that team. That's definitely a team I'd want to draft from the 3 spot. Potentially you, instead of Malik Neighbors, you could get, no, I mean, I'm looking around there, maybe Kyron, or Achan. Gritty's a legend, for sure. What up, Flatulent Fantasy? Thanks for joining the stream. Hope you're having a great night, my man. Yeah, and thank y'all for being here. We're just chilling, drafting this Best Ball Mania 5 team. Let's get ready to make a pick. So far through my first 4, I got 1 wide receiver. I said I was going to go hero RB with Brees. Now it looks like I'm going hero wide receiver with Nico. How can we make this work? We'll find out. 59 and 62. I'm kind of lucky though. I could have taken Terry McLaurin with my last pick, and he made it. He's the last receiver that was taken, so he kind of made it a while. Jaden Reed's the obvious pick here. Some slight regret on Josh Allen because you have CJ Stroud making it back to me. You don't have to take him though. I like Romadunze a lot here. Where did Kincaid end up going? I didn't think he'd make it, but bummer. Lad McConkey's a way to go if Adunze's not there. I really don't want to end up without an elite tight end since I missed out on Kincaid. So I might have to go Pitts or Kittle here. I'm not sure which one makes more sense with this build so far. 8 slot is fire. Gritty's a legend. Love the commitment he has to strategy and his guys. Yeah, you gotta respect it. Just gotta do you. Team in the 8 spot's got Bijan, Marvin Harrison Jr., Tank Dell, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes. That's pretty sweet. Anytime you got Travis Kelce and Mahomes, that's a good squad. 4th and 5th round picks. It's hard to do better than that. Jaden Rome feels right. Let's hope he falls. The guy in the 12th spot really needs wide receiver help as well. Like I said. Lad's an interesting pick. Ridley's there. I haven't been taking Ridley or Godwin very much. I'm going to go with the youth movement. I'm going to go with Lad McConkey here, I think. Kind of a reach. Sometimes when you're at the corners of the draft, you got to do that just a bit. It's hard to always get the guys you want. Yeah, could take Bowers. Meanwhile, I've been taking a lot of Bowers. He's rising up my exposure for tight end, and I'll take Bowers anywhere after pick 90, I think. Yeah. I'm lagging a little bit on the chat. Meatwad's catching up. I ended up taking Lad McConkey. Missed out on Rome. I definitely would much rather have Rome Odunze than Lad McConkey in the 6th round. Probably don't hate, taking DeAndre Hopkins ahead of ADP or Chris Godwin there. Could have been a good move. I think what I have to do though is I really got to go with guys that have a lot of upside. Now that I'm digging out of a wide receiver hole, trying to play a little bit of catch up. Can still make the 4 wide receivers through 7 rounds target, 5 through 9, 5 through 10 if you're on the corner, like I am from the 11th spot. So I think we're in a good spot here. Raphael says, hoping Steelers were going to get Debo, but it's sounding more and more like they're going to get Ayuk. That's going to have so many ripple effects for drafting. ADPs are going to change. I've been hearing some rumblings about what would happen if Ayuk goes to the Steelers. What do you guys think? If Ayuk goes to the Steelers, do you take him 19 overall like he went on this board? Does he fall to the 3rd round? Does he go after Devonta Smith? Does he fall that far? And then where does George Pickens go? Pickens is consistently going in the middle of the 4th round. He really never makes it past the end of the 4th. I don't know if the 49ers skill position players can get much higher besides the fact you'd see Pearsall and probably Kittle bump up a little bit. Ayuk a 49er? It sounds like it could happen. Meatwad thinks he stays. Keon Coleman off the board. That would have been an ideal pick. I could have even reached for Keon Coleman here instead of Lad McConkey. I think it's all right though. We can still make this work. I don't want to go with Josh Allen completely unstacked, but if that's the way that the board falls to me, then we'll take what we can get. Christian Watson's still there. Oh my. Christian Watson's gone. And I like Jonathan Brooks. I don't think I need him in this build right here, right now. Brock Bowers is a bit early. Don't hate it though. Wide receiver, I don't want Jameson that much. Curtis Samuel, big reach. JB. I'm gonna see what happens at with the 12th draft, the drafter in the 12th spot. I want to see what he does. I don't love taking Joe Burrow when you only have T. Higgins. To me, I want Joe Burrow on my Jamar Chase teams, and if you're going to get Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, then you're definitely going to want Joe Burrow. But if you've only got T. Higgins, it's like, why wouldn't you wait here for potentially getting Kirk Cousins later? You can get Jared Goff later with Gibbs lined up there, Purdy later. Of course, you could go Caleb Williams later. So I think a little bit of value, ADP value with a following Joe Burrow. He fell past ADP, but you still don't have to take him as a quarterback there, in my opinion. Jameson Williams goes. I was not going to draft JMO at this spot, so now I feel good about taking Jonathan Brooks and making sure I get him. Could go Brock Bowers early. Curtis Samuel probably won't make it back though, and at this rate, I'm going to have to get at least one Buffalo player. It's going to be Curtis Samuel. Major reach. Don't feel great about it. Have the 49ers franchise tagged anyone? Not sure. There's a chance they did on defense. I'm not sure. So with our last two picks, still kind of staying even, went Jonathan Brooks and Curtis Samuel, staying even, balancing out the running back in the wide receiver position. I really wanted Rashee Rice or Christian Watson here. Needless to say, Keon Coleman would have been a great pick. So tough 7th round, tough 7-8 for me. I feel like I was kind of forced into a spot I didn't want to be in there. Some regret on taking Josh Allen, not getting Dalton Kincaid to fall back, and then limiting myself so that I couldn't take CJ Stroud. He falls all the way to pick 69, gets stacked up with the Stephon Diggs drafting team, who's got probably my favorite team in this draft right now. Is either the team in the 3 spot or the 4 spot. Let's take a look at the 8 spot team. Or was it 9 spot team? No idea, but they don't need to tag Ayuk. He's under contract. Ayuk was drafted 2020 like Higgins, due for contract. Yeah, he's kind of holding out, based on the fact that he might want to get a new contract. He's seen the big numbers go up to Jet, going out to Nico. Caleb Williams goes very early in this draft to DJ Moore drafter. Goes before Kyler Murray. Fifth year option? Yeah, that sounds right. I've been following Ayuk pretty closely. I was a big fan of his back when he was a rookie. I remember taking him that year in my home league. We do an auction draft for redraft 10 team, and I was really, really big on Ayuk. No, actually, I didn't get him. I tried to sneak him in there at the end of the draft with like a $3 or $4 bid, and my buddy took him and then drafted Ayuk, and then turns to me after he had paid, I think it's $5 that I didn't have to spend in an auction format, and he goes, I honestly don't even really know who Brandon Ayuk is. I just saw how excited you were to get him for $4 or whatever, or $3, so I took him for $5, and I was livid. He had a decent rookie year, definitely paid off. All right, draft's coming back around. Quarterbacks have gone off the board. Some late, some early. It's a toss-up. Bowers is gone. The elite tight ends are gone. I don't have a tight end yet, but I've got Josh Allen, 4 wide receivers, 3 running backs. So I'm still feeling pretty balanced. Let's figure out a way to see what we can do with this next pick. I've got something in mind. Let me double check. Bye weeks. No big issues so far. All right, chat. Let me know what you think I should do with this next pick. I've got someone in mind. Let's see if we're thinking the same thing. I think there's a couple logical picks here. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Oh my, are you serious? I was going to take Jordan Love. You already know. And there he goes to the Christian Watson drafter. Sniped again. That's all right. I also was thinking Tyler Lockett would be a decent pick around there. I think it's Shakir, maybe Palmer. I'm looking at the running backs, trying to figure out if I need any of these guys. I'm pretty sure I don't need running back for a while. I should be good. Doubling down on Buffalo, taking Khalil Shakir. He looked okay last year. Let's see if he can have that true breakout season. Check in what you guys got. Just trolling. Yeah, I feel like Cowboys should go get him. Lamb and Ayuk would be pretty cool. Take Herbert next turn. That could work out. Herbert's been falling. A lot of quarterbacks have gone. My next pick's going to be 131, 134. So Brian Robinson Jr. and Mike Williams go. I don't think I was going to draft either of those guys with my pick. Could take David Njoku here. I don't really have a reason to. Njoku's decent, though. There's good ADP value. Reach a little bit on Josh Palmer. I'm going to go with Palmer. I feel like I'm still digging out at wide receiver. I've made the bet with Ladd McConkey, taking him plenty early. Let's imagine I've got the starting wide receiver 1 and 2 on the Los Angeles Chargers. If we look at the board, or let's look at the players. If you look at the Chargers that have gotten drafted, right? I've got them both. So what are the odds someone takes an unstacked Justin Herbert before he comes back around? Let's play a little game called What Are the Odds? And I'm going to say, in this room, badged up how it is, all of the quarterbacks that have gone so far, there's a 80 to 90% chance that Justin Herbert's going to be there. What do you guys think? Yeah, exactly, Raphael. That's kind of how I like to think of it too. I've got to say that for this to work out, you don't need Kincaid, and I don't even have an elite tight end that could replicate Kincaid's ceiling, so I really can't compete with any teams that are going to show up in the final with Josh Allen and Kincaid if he's the guy you need. Maybe we get lucky. I really wanted Jordan Love because I get an out at tight end. If I take Jordan Love, he gets drafted the pick before at 106. I draft 107. I decided to go with Khalil Shakir, and it's kind of like I'm hoping one of Curtis Samuel or Khalil Shakir can pay off and be that wide receiver kind of 3-4 guy on this team. Considering that's my fourth and my fifth wide receiver. And then the bet on Ladd McConkey, right? I took him over Keon Coleman. I didn't really expect Keon Coleman to fall to 83. There's a slight chance he does, but it's rare, so missed out one there. Like the odds, says Meatwad. What do y'all think of Conklin? I think he's going to have a breakout season with Rodgers. Conklin's been fairly consistent. Look at his stats over the last 2 seasons. He is a floor play at tight end. I'd be surprised if I wouldn't be totally surprised if he broke out. It's touchdown dependent. Look what Robert Tonyan did with with Rodgers quite a few years ago at this point. But Tanyan had a 10 touchdown season, if I remember correctly, and
Soldier Boy.
and that's all you need to be effective at the tight end position in this format, half PPR. You don't need huge, massive yardage. You don't even need a ton of catches. As long as you're finding the end zone enough times, it could pay off. Which is why Dawson Knox could still pay off and maybe a fit for this team, especially if we're looking to get some late tight end. I don't know yet if I can make a 2 tight end work with Dawson Knox. I was trying that out during the big board drafts. I was taking more Dawson Knox then. Haven't been drafting Dawson Knox since. All right, guys. Only a few more picks until we're up. Crossed fingers. Justin Herbert falls. I've got a backup plan, though, in case he doesn't. Taken 3 wide receivers in the last 3 picks because I started off with 3 running backs through 7 rounds and 2 running backs in the first 3. Breece Hall, Nico Collins, Derrick Henry, followed up with another detour to Josh Allen. Downs goes, Herbert's the guy. Take him here, push him around the corner. Let's see, who else do we really want here? Is there any falling value that I really want on this team? I don't think so. Schultz. I'm going to take Herbert. Take either Polk or Schultz, whichever one falls. Could go Schultz. Gives me a little Texans, give me a team's correlation there to bring back with Derrick Henry, that bet we've already made. I kind of like that. I'm talking myself into Dalton Schultz right now. Slight ADP value. The guy in the 12 spot's got 2 tight ends. Remember, he took Sam Laporta and George Kittle. I would have taken George Kittle there, but then we'd really be in a tough spot for wide receiver. So it maybe was best that we didn't. Conklin, a week 17 bring back, take him. Yeah, I think, definitely in a scenario like this, that's right. I would consider taking Conklin. What I'm saying about Conklin is I'm not super excited because he's kind of a known item, what his output can be, but you're right. We haven't seen him play a full season with Aaron Rodgers. I am personally out on Aaron Rodgers. I don't draft Aaron Rodgers very often at all, and I drafted him 0 times last season, which is just luck that he ended up getting injured and didn't have a great season that hurt me and hurt my advancing. But Aaron Rodgers was one of those players that I gave up on due to his age and his decline, and I was just worried that he wasn't going to make it through. There's a chance that he would have retired before the start of last season. If you remember, before Aaron Rodgers signed with the Jets, the concern was, is he going to retire? And now he's doing so much media, podcasting, running for vice president, that I don't know if his head's in the game for football. New York's a really hard market to play in. He's in the back end of his career. All of these headwinds against Aaron Rodgers having a great season. That being said, that's also why I'm kind of out on Garrett Wilson. And I'm gonna be underexposed to Garrett Wilson almost certainly because of it. Breece Hall, I think, has shown that regardless of the team, the Jets offense, he can produce as an elite running back. So I feel like he's a little bit more insulated from a bad season by Rodgers, and gets the benefit upside if Rodgers does have a good season, that he's going to also benefit, score more touchdowns, all that. No wide receiver 2. The thing in here's what I was hearing from minicamp, from organized practice going on with the Jets, and correct me if I'm wrong if you've heard different. Xavier Gibson is there. He's running with potentially as the wide receiver 2 because Mike Williams is not back yet from his ACL tear last year. He's still on the sideline until Mike Williams is back out there. It's going to be a version of Xavier Gibson, potentially. I don't know if Allen Lazard's out there healthy running. I haven't heard about him yet, but he's going to be out there in the mix, I would think. And then you have rookie Malachi Corley, who Rodgers was steaming him up a little bit. Aaron Rodgers was talking about Corley in a good light. Yo, what up, Dale? Just got home from casino. My man, hopefully you got paid and didn't pay them, or had a good time either way. But thanks for saying what's up in the chat, joining the stream. Hope you're having a great night, my man. We're drafting a Best Ball Mania 5, and not the typical start that I get involved with, but we're gonna make it work. 2 running backs the first 3 rounds. You already know Nico Collins in the second. Took Josh Allen, first quarterback off the board. Little QB run after that. Made it to Jaden Daniels and Ladd McConkey with my next 2 picks. Since then, Jonathan Brooks, who else but JB in the 7th, especially around the 7th, 8th turn. Reach on Curtis Samuel, bring it back around all the way to 107, get Khalil Shakir. Make another team bet on the Chargers by taking Josh Palmer, Justin Herbert, my next 2 picks. I've got 2 quarterbacks, 1 tight end, and Dalton Schultz. He's an ADP value. I scooped him up, and that's where we're at. What games are you playing in the casino? Are you a blackjack guy, hold'em? Are you playing craps, roulette? Are you a madman? I think this is Kirk Cousins at 150, decent. Matt Stafford usually goes in this range. Aaron Rodgers, that's fine. I'm guessing that's the Wilson team, isn't it? And he's got James Cook. Juwan Johnson goes super early. I feel really good about getting Dalton Schultz where I did then. And Ray Davis goes. Not that I probably was going to take Ray Davis. Haven't been taking a ton of Ray Davis, honestly. In this range, pick 155, pick 158. Could do something with Musgrave, Corley. Let's take another Jet. Make it a rookie. And we're at 7 wide receivers. Feels pretty solid. I don't feel like I have to take Musgrave there. Honestly, at 158, could go Hunter Henry and feel pretty good. The only issue is the Week 14 bye. Not a huge concern. Conklin is another option. Raphael was mentioning it in the chat. And then I don't love the Disley pick. Will Disley late, even if you get him with Justin Herbert. I don't love that pick. $120 BBMs. Nice. There you go, man. Heck yeah. And he said just slots today. Okay. That's what's up. Musgrave's still there. I do have Jaden Reed. I like the Packers offense. Tucker Kraft got the torn pec. Helps with my tight end issue. I don't need another running back yet, especially, although they're starting to kind of dry up. Could have gone Kamani Vidal. I honestly have a lot of Vidal exposure, so I'm looking to kind of walk that back just a bit. Who are some of the rookie running backs that you guys are targeting in the late rounds? Who do you like to take with picks in the 170, 180 range before you get to those last 2 rounds when it really dries up at running back? Because that's probably what I'm looking at here. I've got 3 running backs through 14 rounds, which is just fine. You might like to have 4 or 5 pretty soon after this, though. Not wait too much longer. It's really drying up. Shout out to Dameon Pierce going in the 14th round. What year is it? Get a running back, a Conklin. Yeah, now that I took Luke Musgrave, though, and I took Malachi Corley, I'm much less likely to go with Conklin. I think I'm going to stick with 2 tight ends in this build almost unless I'm probably not going to go with 3 quarterbacks. So unless Conklin just keeps falling and he's there, I'll take him. Yeah, Bucky Irving. I got a lot of exposure to Bucky Irving. I haven't been clicking Rachaad White too much. Last year, I was talking earlier with you guys about my redraft league, my home league. We do an auction draft. We do a vacation together. It's Labor Day weekend, and we go out somewhere, a destination. We do our draft over a few days. We do it in one night, but we all hang together for a few days, and we make kind of side bets. So I bet one of my buddies last year. I said, here's the conditions: Isaiah Pacheco straight up versus Rachaad White. More touchdowns, total touchdowns, rushing and receiving. Given they both played least, I think we said 14 games, and they had the exact same number of touchdowns. Let's fact check that in a little bit, but I'm pretty sure that's how it played out. Either that or I lost by 1. We weren't counting the playoffs either. It was just regular season. I'm pretty sure they both had 10. We'll have to fact check that. But the whole reason I'm talking about that is I'm kind of not so bullish on Rachaad White, and he did surprise me and ended up having a lot better more fantasy points than I would have expected. Conklin's gone. Bucky's there. I don't think there's any other tight ends I'm going to want. Dawson Knox late could still be a thing. Not crazy about the wide receivers in this range. It's going to be Bucky. But what do you think? Do I take Braylon Allen on a team where I already got Breece Hall? Who isn't bullish on Braylon Allen right now? But is it going to be 2 running backs in the Jets backfield that you need? Is it going to be a 1-2 punch like the Dolphins last season? There's plenty of years when you can take 2 running backs in a backfield and they both kind of pay off. The hard part here is I took Breece Hall in the first round, so for him to pay off, I need him to crush it. What do you guys think? Yeah, Braylon Allen, off the schneid's talking about him. Bucky, Braylon, Estime, throw in Jawar Jordan. Ooh. On 20-round draft teams. Yeah, I know what you're saying there, Muad. Like Chuba. Yeah, I could pin down the entire backfield for the Panthers if I take Chuba. He's still there, isn't he? That's an option. A little bit worse than the bye weeks if I do that. Let's go Braylon here. I think his ADP is going to continue to fall, or he's going to rise. It's going to get smaller. The number's going to continue to go down, down, down. Realistically, if you look where Braylon Allen should be going, if we know he's the RB2 in that backfield, and we think the Jets are going to be somewhat decent, at least that's what I'm saying in this draft room, I think he could easily go in the 14th round, pick 157 to pick 165 kind of range, easily. Braylon Allen. So if you're still getting Braylon Allen in the 16th, 17th round, then you're doing it right. I think there were some poodles where I got him in the 20th round on teams where I didn't even need a running back. Didn't make sense at all, but you just take him there with your last pick. I think I ended up with 6 running backs on a Bijan team where you definitely didn't really need a 6 running back, but just a lot of upside. I'm kind of high on Braylon Allen right now. Get Chubby over Allen. Get all the Jets running back touchdowns. Yeah, I ended up going with Allen there. It's a toss-up. I feel like
Soldier Boy, tell.
I feel like we're good at running back. Potentially, we went pretty ham on the rookies. 3 rookie running backs in the squad. 2572 build with 2 picks left. Josh Allen double stacked. Bring back Breece Hall and Malachi Corley. Justin Herbert, double stacked, Lad McConkey, Josh Palmer, and we're working something up on a bring back here. I think we do end up going one more wide receiver, make it 8, potentially take maybe one more running back, just to give us a little bit of stability while these rookies. If Jonathan Brooks comes back week 2, week 3, week 4 to taking over the backfield, if he's a slightly slow start, Bucky Irving, Braylon Allen, of course, is got some. We need that offense, the Jets' offense, to be so good that both Breece is eating and Braylon Allen still gets some. We don't want it to be the case that Breece gets hurt and then Allen takes over, carries us through in the playoffs or something like that late in the season. I don't think that's the way we win here. We're definitely going to want Breece Hall playing Josh Allen in week 17. Dawson Knox could be the last pick. Chuba get more yards than Allen? Yeah, it could be. It could be the case. I had a lot of Chuba Hubbard last year. Probably like my 5th or 6th highest drafted running back was Chuba last year. He was on my poodle that placed 7th, and I don't think I used his points in week 17, but he was definitely a part of that core 5 running back setup that I had going. That was a 3-5-7-3 build. Kraft goes. So Demario Douglas, needless to say, gives me my bring back. Could be my last wide receiver taken. I'm fine with Demario Douglas. I can take him here. I think I will. Allen's cheap enough, right? Looks like a Mitch Trubisky team. What do you have a lot of? Had a lot of Chuba Hubbard last season. 2582. Are there any quarterbacks that would make sense for me to go here? No. Tight end. Could go Dawson Knox, right? Could take JT. I don't want to go. I don't want to go Will Disley. I don't think there's enough upside. Tez Walker, Jalen McMillions McDonald's. Is it Dawson Knox? It's kind of gross. At running back, I'm not convinced. Throw a little JT Sanders in there. I'm fine with just going Curtis Samuel, Khalil Shakir. Maybe the play would have been Dawson Knox, contingent upside on the fact that I didn't get Dalton Kincaid. So then if Kincaid's not playing, Knox is playing, he does well. I don't know. Let me take some upside with a rookie. I don't love going 3 tight end. I just felt like I was good at wide receiver, good at running back, and no one I wanted left at running back. Definitely don't need a 3rd QB in this build. And I've already made a little bet with Jonathan Brooks on the Panthers. I got Bucky Irving, and so Taven Sanders gives me a little bit more of a game stack there. Just playing into that game I've already committed to, teams that I've already drafted players in. Greg Dulcich, LOL, not so much. Have too much Downs, Burton, Ford, and Chuba. I like Downs, Burton. I don't mind Ford and Chuba either. Keaton Mitchell could have been a click for sure. I've got Derrick Henry though, but I know what you're saying. I could have taken over that backfield as well. The more I think about it, probably should have gone with Dawson Knox. But I like Sanders too. All right, let's see how this one's finishing out. Joe Flacco gets drafted. Very strange. A lot of weird choices by the drafter in that 7 spot. Or 9 spot, whatever he is. Joe Flacco in the 18th round. Let me know if you've seen that before in Best Ball Mania. Are you seeing Joe Flacco go off the board, get selected? Because I'm typically not. Devontae Walker, Jalen McMillan are 2 of my favorite wide receiver clicks later in the draft. Let's get into the lobby and let's draft some poodles. Go ahead and waiting on 10. Jump in on these poodles if you wanna get on these drafts. We're rolling right into some poodles. Transition. The 2 spot. Off the Schneid in the 3 spot. What up, man? KZ Brown in the 7 spot. Oh. Got some friends in here. Okay. It's gonna be fun. I was thinking potentially we could double table these poodles. Let me get this one started and let's see how it goes. Drafting from the 2 spot actually makes it a little bit easier to double table to make this happen. So let me see. Let's get this one started, see how it starts to go through the first couple of rounds. Maybe we'll add another draft in flight. Got the 101. Sleepy Steve Vessa. That's what's up. Thanks for hanging out in the chat, guys. Go ahead and slap that like. Make sure you're subbed. Turn on notifications if you want to catch me going live. If you want to join these drafts, draft with me or against me. I'm going to be here all summer, just chilling, vibing. Usually pretty late night drafts. CeeDee Lamb at the 102 every time. Dale's got too many shares of Roshan. I don't think that's a terrible problem to have. I've got a lot of shares of Khalil Herbert, who I didn't have so much last year. Last year, I was way more on Roshan. Way more on Roshan last year. I was drafting tons of rookie running backs last year. It worked out well. A lot of Kendre Miller. Didn't help so much, though, you know. A lot of Tank Bigsby didn't help out at all. Who else didn't help out? Roshan helped a little bit. And Roshan was going later than those guys, too. At least to start the last summer. Pretty standard stuff. Off the Schneid takes Tyreek Hill at 3 spot. Jamar Chase. Amon-Ra St. Brown goes 5. Right before Justin Jefferson to 6. KZ Brown takes Bijan. I'm going to guess Breece Hall goes here at the 8. Standard stuff. These poodle rooms, you never know. People will make a little bit different plays. The final, the Week 17 finals is 310. And so you don't have to be you don't have to have quite as strong of a team necessarily to win that you would to win BBM 5 with 530, 500 plus other teams you're going up against. We'll see at this rate. The poodles, I don't think it's at 50% full. It was getting pretty close to that. This will be my 8th poodle. So I'm getting pretty close to 50% of my 20 max entries. I'm thinking the poodle entries are going to slow down just a bit over the next few days as we get into the week. So with a little bit of night drafting, it could happen. Let me know what you guys are doing. Are you maxing the poodle? Are you entering the poodle? What are you doing with this contest? Do you like this size of contest? It's really appealing to me personally. I think it's a good size tournament. It's going to be a time capsule, so we'll get certain ADP values and players lining up on the board here that you're not going to see later in the summer. You won't have access to. And so that makes it fun. Another little added quirk to drafting all summer long that I enjoy is some of these tournaments close way before the season starts or is about to start. Don't snipe me, dog. Oh no, not in the draft. Yeah, Raphael. I was like, Raphael goes by the name Steve on Underdog. Got in the wrong draft. RIP. RIP, brother. Off the Schneid is maxing all the poodles. I think I'd like to. I have not been going hard on Puppy Superflex. What do y'all think about Puppy Superflex? I did a bunch of big board Superflex last year. They were fun while it lasted. I'm not in the Superflex mindset right now, though. I've really focused on Best Ball Mania. So. Uh-oh. Do you guys see what I'm seeing? Either Xavier Leggett is gonna be a huge superstar and It6 knows it, or he misclicked there, or he starred someone to get later in the draft. Star method failed again. I don't like the omens here. If I'm reading the tea leaves, a Xavier Leggett in the second round kind of feels like someone throwing the draft here, which would be a huge bummer and a waste of time. Nico goes. It's a good pick. Stephon Diggs is gone. Some interesting selections, to be sure. I love Devontae Adams. I'm going to take Devontae Adams. Could go Waddle here. Anytime you can get Devontae Adams and CeeDee Lamb on the same team, I think that's a smash. Last year, CeeDee Lamb and Amon-Ra St. Brown were two of the guys that advanced a ton of teams across a lot of tournaments. That's how I got there in the Poodle, was my first two picks, CD and Amon-Ra. But in the same vein, I drafted a ton of CeeDee Lamb and Devontae Adams last year. I thought that was also kind of a smash start. So I'm open to it. Jalen Waddle, Mike Evans go. This is where I do something that might surprise you. I typically take Devontae Smith here. And I'm going to lean into that Dallas game. If you don't take an Eagle here, you're not going to get one later. So I don't think it's a reach either. I think Devontae Smith is a baller. Former Heisman winner. Take him in the third round. Reach a little bit, but I get the correlation. I'm starting off with 3 wide receivers that I like. Maxed mostly slows. That's the thing. If I find that I'm not going to be able to max it on fast, I will throw in 3, 4, 5 slows at the end just to make sure I do max it. So I think I can get there. I'm not a big fan of slow drafts. I did plenty of slow drafts last year. I've done plenty of slow drafts in the PGA season for season-long PGA drafts like the Scramble, the Albatross. But I just kind of get burnt out on the slow drafts. I've probably got 5 or 6 running right now, and that's plenty. Anything past 10 for me just becomes a little bit draining, personally.
Soldier boy, tell.
There's the drop. Getting me to remember to tell y'all to smash that like. Make sure you're subbed. Follow me on Twitter at FFBGarage. Turn on notifications if you want to know when I'm going live, if you want to draft with me or against me. Thanks for being here. Hope you guys are having a great Sunday night. We're vibing. I'm going to leave it on the draft board. Well, after this pick, let's see what's going on with the Xavier Leggett guy. Come on, he's going to time out. And Malik Neighbors. Okay, so he's trying to make amends. He's trying to right the ship. Let's see how he digs out from the Xavier Leggett pick. I'm going to go grab another glass of water. Casey's picking right here. Be right back. What up? What up? Thanks for sticking around. Casey's going high testosterone. He's got 3 running backs with his first 3 picks. Oh, A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts. See, these are the kind of teams you see in the Poodles you don't see in BBM drafts, and I'm here for it. I think that's cool. You know, A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, cool. That could be fun. It's a huge team bet. It's not too much of a reach in any direction. He would have loved to have gotten Devonta Smith there, pushed Jalen Hurts around the corner and taken him. So I kind of stole some of his thunder. So the draft in the 9 spots, who I'm competing against to get Dak, Ferguson. If I continue with my bets on the Cowboys, obviously Zeke, Pollard, Brandon Cooks. Yeah, oh boy. Not a fan of Superflex, says Dale. Meatwad is confused by the Xavier Legette pick. If you didn't see it live, if you're just here now and joining in, we got Xavier Legette's off the board, so please do not suggest that I draft him. He's already gone. I can't take Xavier Legette with my next pick. Sorry, guys. I was really looking forward to it in the 4th round, but he went in the 2nd. In all fairness, I had a draft where Ben Sinnott went in the 2nd round. It wound up being good enough to not get thrown. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying there, Meatwad. I've seen crazier things. I've seen rooms get thrown. I had one draft get. I only had one draft get refunded last summer, and it was. I want to say it was a Poodle. It was a smaller one, like $10 or a $7 draft, maybe a Poodle. What are you gonna do, Casey? You got 3 running backs. 42. You could go tight end. Travis Kelce takes the following Travis Kelce. Personally, I think it's like a coin flip between Laporta and Kelce. Obviously, Laporta's great. He's a huge end zone threat target. They use him a ton. It's a good offense. I'm totally in on the Lions. But it's Travis Kelce. He's generational. You know, he's the goat at tight end. So I think it's still kind of a toss-up there. Christian Kirk off the board. ETN. Josh Jacobs. Picking up in a few. Could go.
Yeah.
You know. Pickens is a choice. Pickens is off the board. Trey McBride, how does that work for this team? How does Mark Andrews work for this team? Pacheco. I think what I'm doing is right. I had a draft earlier today that was a Poodle where I went CeeDee Lamb, Malik Neighbors, Devonta Smith, and then I didn't take Terry McLaurin, and I instantly regretted it because that would have been the NFC East divisional stack, which is just kind of fun. But honestly, those teams do play each other twice. You lean into a little bit of that correlation. Could be a competitive division. I think Dallas, the Eagles are going to be competitive teams. Washington's on the come up, they're on the rise. The Giants are the one team that is struggling there, but they got Dayball. They drafted Neighbors. Let's see with Danny Dimes healthy what they could do. On the clock with pick 50. The draft on the 1 spot goes bully tight end, takes Mark Andrews, Trey McBride. This is kind of what I was fearing though, because I can take Pacheco here, I can take Kincaid here. I like Kincaid. I haven't been able to get a ton of them. I was kind of fearing this because I almost wanted to go Xavier Worthy and then get Mahomes with my last 2 picks. I'm going to go Dalton Kincaid. Keep pushing running back. have some faith that I can make it work out later in the draft, and ensure that I don't miss out on elite tight end this time. So that's the play. See what Meatwad's talking about. He says, only gotten one thrown out through 220 drafts this summer. Believe it was a puppy. Had like 5 to 10 borderline ones though. Yeah, man. Anytime you see something weird in a draft, throw it up on Twitter and let the best ball bros and the D-gens witness what's going on. And but anyways, through 5 picks, I've got 4 wide receivers, 1 tight end. I haven't taken a quarterback yet, so I think we're still kind of in that area though where I'm going to be banking on either Dak Prescott, or now that I have McLaurin, I could always go Jaden Daniels. I'm going to be picking 71 and 74, and then I go to the 8th round. It's pick 90. Pick 95. Pick 95. So this is something I've been talking about recently, is where Dak Prescott goes. His ADP is just before 95, which is logically where he lines up with the CeeDee Lamb spot. But what this tells me is that, and I believe this to be true, is that sometimes he's getting drafted at 74 overall, and that's maybe 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 5 times he goes that early to the CeeDee Lamb drafter, and that's probably what's driving his ADP up, so that it's not closer to 95 or 98. And then you also have the opportunity for him to get paired up on the other end of the draft board with Jake Ferguson. People will take Ferguson 83, take Dak 86, that kind of range, especially if they've got some Eagles. I've got to watch out for the Eagles drafter in the 9th spot. He's taken 3 Eagles in his first 3 picks. He's definitely a risk to take some Cowboys. Dale hasn't lost any drafts. You shouldn't expect to. It's very rare that drafts get thrown out. I like this team in the 12th spot just fine. Tank Dell, Pittman Jr., Anthony Richardson, and he finishes it up with Kyle Pitts. That's a fun one. You go Drake London and Kyle Pitts. Anthony Richardson gives you the elite quarterback with rushing upside early. Takes the pressure off to land Kirk Cousins later in the draft. He's going to be the drafter I've got to watch out for to snipe me if I want to get Jaden Daniels with my Terry McLaurin, because he's got 2 of the Falcons. Falcons play the Commanders week 17. Same thing with the Bijan draft. Your KZ, he could be looking to go Jaden Daniels or Kirk Cousins. KZ's gotten Keenan Allen and Rome Odunze, 2 Bears wide receivers back-to-back. CJ Stroud goes 67. Man, this is the second room in a row where we've seen CJ Stroud fall in the 6th round. What's going on? Drafter in the 5 spots, steaming right now. He was going to take CJ Stroud, get a nice value, pair him up with Steph Diggs. Instead, he pivots, goes to Jordan Addison. He's got 5 really solid wide receivers and a hero RB build on Travis Etienne Jr. All right, let's make this pick. Coming up. Kittle's still there. Kittle is gone. That's all right. Kamara, Aaron Jones. Coleman. Maybe on the way back. I think it is. Obviously Ladd. I took Ladd a lot earlier in my previous draft. He could be a guy I throw in here. Maybe get Herbert late if I miss out on Dak. Something to think about. Another pick coming up. The drafter in the 1 spot goes CMC, Jalen Waddle, Mike Evans, Mark Andrews, Trey McBride. So he's got bully, double elite tight ends. He takes Lad McConkey. He keeps bullying me. So many good wide receivers went in the 6th round, and I didn't get one of them. A little bit disappointed. I really like the 6th round selection. I don't think you can go wrong in the 6th round. All of the players that are in the 6th round right here, any one of those guys, it's probably CJ Stroud's the best pick in the round, potentially. Although, you know, with QB, you're kind of paying up. Keon Coleman does go. I thought that might be sick to pair him with Dalton Kincaid. So I'm going to end up either going Brian Thomas or Aaron Jones. If I take Brian Thomas, I get one more out at QB. If I take Aaron Jones, a little more balance. Let's go Brian Thomas. Let's really push running back in this room. I've got a ton of Aaron Jones. And I don't foresee myself going with the Packers in this draft, just the way that I'm already building it out. So for that reason, I don't necessarily have to have Aaron Jones. I do like Aaron Jones' upside, probably even more than Alvin Kamara in any given 1 week. But Kamara, I think, is kind of he's going to give me some consistent production at the running back. And maybe, just maybe, I can lean into, if I miss out on Evan Ingram to pair up with Brian Thomas and then later get T-Law, I could go Jake Ferguson, pair him up with CeeDee, get Dak. If I miss out there, I go Brock Bowers, get him paired up with Devontae Adams, and then bring back on Alvin Kamara. Another reason I like Kamara there is because I've already got the Devontae Adams, Alvin Kamara mini now. Not saying I'm going to go with Gardner Minshew. I think it's a tough click. I'd rather just have the skill position players on the Raiders without having to take a quarterback from that team. Kind of likewise the same situation for the Saints. I don't love taking Derek Carr. I'd rather just have Saints players and not have to take Derek Carr. But that's what I'm thinking. All of these tight ends I would then take and then potentially stop. Of course, I've got a bye week issue 12 and 12 with Ingram and Kincaid, so that might just not work out. And I don't even think he's going to be there. He'd be a huge faller if he doesn't make it all the way back around. The bigger concern is going to be, of course, the QB situation on the way back.
Soldier boy, tell.
Okay, let's check in with Meatwad. He says likes going CD McLaurin because it also is kind of makes your team snipe proof. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. The most part, you're always going to get one Dak or Jaden from 95-98. I'll take Jaden 95. I'm in. I'm excited to take that path forward, be on the Jaden Daniels journey, stacking up Heisman winners on this team. I mean, that would be 2, but it's good. Well, no, Kyler doesn't work for this team. Not yet, at least. Nah, I wouldn't take Kyler with this team. Got Stroud at 82 in a drafters room today. Couldn't believe he was there, says Meatwad. That is pretty wild. The drafters rooms always amaze me. Same thing with the DK rooms. I personally am not drafting on DK or drafters at the moment. Just a personal preference. I like the user experience on Underdog much better. So that's where I'm at. There's enough contest to spread my bankroll across. I think there's plenty going on. They're coming out with stuff like the weekly winners, eliminator, all these different tournaments, so you really can't get bored. I think it's enough to keep me busy. Let's see what happens. Here's the board. Jake Ferguson does go, like I mentioned, I thought he might, to the Eagles team, which is why I was a little bit more excited to take Dalton Kincaid and make sure I didn't miss out on elite tight end. Coming back around, I potentially could have landed Kittle, but luckily I've got Dalton Kincaid. Kittle didn't fall to me, so I kind of fixed that problem before it became a problem. Now that Jake Ferguson and Everett Ingram go, like I said, I'm really happy I have Dalton Kincaid, and Bowers is still out there as an option for me. Thanks for joining the stream tonight, y'all. Thanks for being in the chat, being active, saying what's up. Appreciate y'all. Hope you're having a fantastic Sunday night. Getting ready for a great week. It's summertime. The sun is shining. And it's best ball season. Dude, come on. Come on. I knew this guy was going to be trouble when he took Xavier Legette in the second round. Every time, 100% of the time in best ball, well, in poodle drafts, forgot we're in a poodle. 100% of the time in poodles this year, when someone takes Xavier Legette in the second round, they take Dak in the 8th round. So just remember that. It is a fact. That is going to make this, honestly, even better for me, because I don't have to go so much further on the Cowboys bet or the Eagles bet. There's no more Eagles to take. The Cowboys that are left, you know, you could go running back in a little bit, but who do you get excited about except for CeeDee Lamb and Dak? It's tough to say. I did feel like that was a situation where they could have brought in another wide receiver. Brandon Cooks is there, but I mean, how much do you need out of Brandon Cooks? Kyler Murray is available. Do I take Kyler here falling 15 picks and make something happen is a question. Do I think, yes, he will take Kyler. I can still get some value later and not take Kyler. Oh, I should have waited on Bowers. I'm going to be pissed if he goes Jalen Warren now because I realized he has 2 tight ends already, and there's no way he would have taken Brock Bowers there. Darn. That's okay. We'll mix it up. It's going to be a Mostert pick. If he doesn't take Kyler and Warren, he takes Warren, obviously. I could go Pollard here. Let me mix it up with Pollard. Let me just double check this team, make sure that's what I want. We get Brock Bowers. Should have waited on Brock Bowers. Could have gotten Jalen Warren. But actually, I think it's a Tony Pollard team. Jaden Daniels. Whew. I had to think twice. I didn't want to push him. He wouldn't have been there at 119. I'll say that. Small issue with, it's kind of hard to get Falcons at this point in the draft. There's Algier left. There's not a whole lot of other viable options. Do a quick check on at Atlanta. Darnell Mooney and Rondell Moore, of course. Kind of some late flyer, mid to late flyer, super late flyer wide receiver selections. Not a high level of confidence in either one of them. You would have to think, though, Kirk Cousins could potentially support 2 wide receivers and a tight end. So that leaves Drake, Pitts, and then somebody else. I'm gonna grab Darnell Mooney or Rondell Moore at some point later in this draft. Took Jaden Daniels there. Kind of glad I didn't take Jalen Warren. It didn't go Warren and then Brock Bowers because this forced me to take Jaden Daniels. And I do want Brock Bowers in this team. I like how he works here and fits in with Kincaid. I've got a ton of upside at tight end. Definitely done with tight end for now. Don't have to worry about taking Ben Sinnott later. If he's a huge value follower to me, I could still take him. Yeah, that's what's up. There goes Tony Pollard, Jordan Love, Caleb Williams. Casey gets Caleb Williams. He's got a big bet on the Bears with Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze. Now Caleb, he makes it happen. He gets the click he wanted. He also picks up Deontay Johnson and Cortland Sutton. I will say, if you're going to end up with 4 wide receivers as your last 4 picks through 8 rounds, he pulled it off in a really interesting way where he's got hyper fragile RB, elite tight end, double stacked his first quarterback. He's got we're assuming the wide receiver 1 on 2 different teams that are up and coming with young quarterbacks that could surprise everyone and overproduce kind of their median projections. So I like Casey's team. I like what he's doing with it and how he's building it out. He's making it work. Let's check in with Off the Schneid. His team is looking pretty good as well. He did take Patrick Mahomes and gets Rashee Rice. I think that's a great selection, even at pick 75. He's going with a hero RB build off Devin Achane, and he also has Tyreek Hill. So you can imagine what he's thinking with his next pick here. I'll make a prediction, and let's see if he hits it at 118. I've got a different player in mind for myself at pick 119, and then I got to double check with the guy who's in the 1 spot. He's got Kyler Murray, right? He just took Kyler Murray, which was sweet for him. He caught the following Kyler Murray, and he has Trey McBride. Unfortunately, he also took Mark Andrews, so I think it can work. I think it's a rare kind of build though. But when you've got Christian McCaffrey holding it down as your hero RB build, but then you also get Jalen Warren who falls to you, it's pretty sweet. And I don't hate his wide receivers. I just think it's a little bit thin. Another potential wide receiver 1 for Casey Brown out of the 7th spot. Takes Joshua Palmer there. Bummer. Trevor Lawrence goes to the team who takes Xavier Legette in the 2nd round, which is kind of weird. He sniped me on Dak Prescott and Trevor Lawrence, so kind of weird there. Mitchell's a great pick. Could go Spears, Chase Brown, Gus Edwards. I don't take a lot, but I could get him. Let's go Spears here. Just kind of sucks that it would have been fun to potentially get Spears and Trevor Lawrence. Is kind of what I was looking for. I'm surprised that Off the Schneid took Brock Purdy. He does have George Kittle. I'd be afraid that the drafter in the 1 spot would take Tua is why. And literally as I was saying it happened. Because Tua could have been good for his team. He might have been trying to either push Tua or just avoid, obviously, the quarterback bye week situation, since he has Mahomes. It's my turn to pick. Definitely a place you could go running back. I've got 5 wide receivers, so I feel pretty good. I like A.D. Mitchell a ton. Let's keep pushing the running backs. We're really pushing running back in this room. A true 0 running back build. Super thin. 2 running backs through 11 rounds. Super thin running back. And because I've already taken 6 wide receivers, I don't have a whole lot of room to work with later in the draft. I've also got a pretty good bet on rookie pass catchers with Thomas, Mitchell, and Bowers. So I don't have to be taking up a ton of these later rookies. There's definitely some I'm going to want to target or let, correlate in the right ways. But I've covered that base to an extent, just getting that rookie talent and putting some draft capital behind it. Long story short, feel good at wide receiver with those 6. So I'll probably chill on wide receiver, hammer running backs through these middle rounds, don't have to worry about tight end, and then figure out QB as it comes. Still got some options. I have one thing in mind. One way we can still play this team without having Trevor Lawrence or Dak Prescott. One more good out. 2 more good outs. Yeah, Dale says only underdog for me. Can't afford more. That's true. You gotta play what you know what you play. Don't stretch yourself too thin. Teams with second round, Xavier Legette, go 4 QBs in 10 rounds 100% of the time. Straight facts, me. Straight facts. How we doing tonight, everyone? What's good? Are you drafting? Are you chilling? Did you watch Scotty Scheffler win another tournament today? The #1 golfer in the world. I'm a big Scotty Scheffler fan. Dude is having a season. So, I mean, this could be a 3 QB build for me because I've allocated my wide receivers in this way through 11 rounds, getting 6. Some really solid guys up top with CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Adams, Devonta Smith, Terry McLaurin. I'm covered from a target standpoint, just collecting targets. I've got upside that I did pick the top wide receiver for the season in CeeDee Lamb. I've also got a shot that I've got one of the best tight ends between Brock Bowers or Dalton Kincaid. So that makes me feel good. In the running back, intentionally thin. There's a ton of late targets. When you get to round 17, round 18, it's a bit thinner and you got to take your guys, especially from the 2 spot.
Soldier boy, tell.
From the 2 spot, you get to make your 17th pick early, but your 18th pick late. So you don't want to wait to take a position that you have to have with that 18th pick from this spot. Like, you wouldn't want to wait to take your second QB or your second tight end, obviously. At the same time, you might not want to wait to take, your 5th, or depending on the draft, your 6th running back with that very last pick. It'll come down to what you need. To me, it feels a little bit easier to find a wide receiver that can pay off in the 18th round with the second to last pick overall than it is a running back. It can be tough to find a running back in that range that'll do anything for you besides put up minimal scoring weeks or be a dead roster spot. You're looking at a guy who could have been the RB2, ends up the RB3. You're looking at guys that end up never making it off the practice squad or getting cut. Of course, there's going to be upside. That's why you might want to take a younger player, a rookie or a sophomore in that range. I've got another player in mind. I occasionally take him. It's disgusting, but Alexander Mattison with your last pick in the 18th round. If you need a running back, he could be the RB2 on his team. He could end up the RB1 on his team. There could be no RB1 on the Raiders. It could just be kind of a split backfield. You have Zamir White, who never truly took over a backfield in college. He was always splitting with, pretty sure he was there at the same time as James Cook, Kenny McIntosh. So Ricky Pearsall goes. I'm definitely going to be looking to running back in this range. So far, so good with what's available. I would go Zeke here at a huge value, grab Zeke, and then I can go. I don't know if I take Kendre on a team where I've already got Alvin Kamara. What do you think about that? Are you willing to to take 2 running backs in the same backfield when it's the New Orleans Saints. I think it's... I don't know if that's a good move. Other player I need to be cognizant of in this range is Mooney, who's already gone. That's the thing. I never get Darnell Mooney. I don't know how his ADP isn't even higher. I've never gotten Darnell Mooney in a draft with Jaden Daniels, and I take Jaden Daniels all the time. I usually end up getting Jaden Daniels with Tyler Algier. I don't want to take him here because it's a slight reach, although he does fit my team really nicely. More of a stability kind of play. Obviously, Kirk Cousins is there. Don't want him. Let's just go Marshawn Lloyd. He's been a riser. I remember when Marshawn Lloyd was going in the 170s pretty recently, if I'm not mistaken. I could be completely misremembering that, but I could have sworn Marshawn Lloyd being a pick near Bucky Irving recently. What's my handicap in golf? Says off the schneid. My handicap in golf is I am not good enough to have a handicap, but I just don't play enough. I'd love to get out there and play more. I've never played consistently enough to have a handicap. The most I was playing was growing up and playing in high school. But I'm very, I'd say it's like riding a bicycle. Like I get out there, warm up on the range, and it comes right back to me. So I'm a huge fan of playing golf, watching golf. I like golf fantasy as well. I've got a lot of family members that are obsessed with golf. My uncle, my dad, my brother, and my father-in-law all have handicaps, all play minimum once, if not twice a week. So I've got a lot of golfers around me that keep me busy. What about you, man? You getting out there? You hitting the range? You got to set up in your backyard a net you hit into? Are you putting across your living room floor into cups? What's your handicap? Golf handicap. If anyone doesn't know what I'm saying, oh yeah, for sure, I know what you're saying. Yeah. Handicap. What's your greens in regulation? What's your putting average? I'm a terrible putter, I would say. That's probably the weakest part of my game. Maybe I just don't have the patience for it. Maybe I need to get a new putter. I do use a blade putter that's pretty dated. And when Scotty Scheffler switched over to that TaylorMade Spider X putter, looks like a space station coming off the back of his club, it really changed his game early in the season this year. He was losing strokes putting. He goes to gaining strokes putting, consistently winning tournaments, Scotty Scheffler, after he changed his putter. Who told him to change his putter? Well, it wasn't his swing coach. It wasn't his caddy. It wasn't his agent or his manager. It was his number one opponent, Rory McIlroy, said, hey, who also is a TaylorMade guy, hey, try out this putter. Literally helping his own competition beat him in majors, in big events. Crazy. I'm pretty sure, I think it was Meat was here earlier in the week. Meatwad was here. We were talking about golf. We were talking about the crazy headlines in sports this year so far in 2024. Like, what are the craziest headlines in sports? I would rank number one, Scotty Scheffler getting arrested at Valhalla before the PGA Championship, before his 8 a.m. tee time on day number 2 that Friday. That waking up to that on Friday morning was absurd. Probably the craziest story that's going to happen in sports this year. Number 2 is Shohei Ohtani, gambling scandal. It's been kind of brushed under the rug, but we see more gambling scandals pop up in MLB, other sports, college, football, of course, Calvin Ridley, bunch of players. And so the whole gambling thing on sports is becoming a big issue as the industry starts to embrace sports betting. You see ESPN embracing sports betting for the first time. It's a big culture shift for them, I think. And then the third biggest story is, in my mind, is Antonio Brown going broke, but we'll see. Dude's hilarious on social media, even if he is out there wilding. Play 1 to 3 times a week. Would always like more. I'm a 12.5 right now. Nice, man. Just like Scotty Terrible Putter. Nice. 12.5 is really, really good. That's awesome. Yeah, playing 1 to 3 times a week, I would kind of expect that's what it takes to get down to a low double-digit handicap that you feel good about. You gotta put in the hours. That's cool. It's hot out here. I'm Houston, Texas based. It's hot AF outside, very humid, but it's still worth it to get out there, sweat through your clothes, tee it up, get in 18 holes when you can. Coming up on pick 14 and 15, it's going to be 167, 170. What are we doing here? It's a 1-4-6-2 build. I don't need tight end. I've got a lot of ideas at running back and quarterback later. So if anything falls to me, if anything happens that I like, if I get in a situation I can take advantage of, I think I can pretty much take any position I want right now. Like I said, I don't really expect to go tight end again though. I'm seeing somewhat attractive options in this range. Hunter Henry, Juwan Johnson, 2 guys I really like. A draft on a ton of teams, correlated or not, just at ADP if you need a tight end too. Makes it a little bit easier on me. Juwan Johnson goes to I thought it was going to be the guy in the 6th spot who keeps breaking my heart, taking all the players I wanted. But no, he goes to the next guy. Algier goes. That would have been sweet, getting Algier on the way back. I almost took him at pick 146, getting him at 167, a good value in ADP, and gives me that bring back. Unfortunately, doesn't look like we're going to be connecting the dots with the Commanders and the Falcons, because I don't see any Falcons skill position players left that I like, except for Rondale Moore, and that's a super late pick. Bucky Irving's there again. Could go Senate. That's all right. I'll take McCaffrey there. Yeah, I don't need Senate. Could do it though. Could just not be able to get there with Atlanta. Maybe needing Rondale Moore, taking that 8th wide receiver. Gonna hold off until then. Don't love the spot we're in here. Chuba Hubbard could be a pick. I'm going to throw Chuba Hubbard in there. Y'all have been talking about him in the chat, putting him in my ear. I don't take a lot of Chuba Hubbard. Haven't been doing it as much this year. So I think that's solid there. Just get some more touches in that backfield. In a team where I haven't drafted Jonathan Brooks, which is kind of more of the exception than the rule. I think I'm at, like, across all my drafts, I'm probably around almost high 20s, if not 30% Jonathan Brooks. So switch it up. Take Chuba Hubbard here. The only regret I have about going with Luke McCaffrey is that it's going to limit my options for the later QBs. I've now got 7 wide receivers, and I spent a lot of draft capital, 5 picks up front on wide receiver. Typically, I'd say this is a team you could easily stop at 7 at wide receiver, okay? And the problem is I've also got 2 tight ends you could easily stop at. And so we'll have to kind of see what makes sense. Grab falling value past ADP where we can, what makes sense later on. Really thought Calvin would come through for gamblers last season. Shake my head. Raphael says, just drafted a disgustingly good team. Got a lot of guys I liked and lots of guys that if they hit big, I'm winning big. That's what I like to hear, my man. That's what we're all about here. Sharing strategy, talking about players, talking about player takes, talking about what's current in the best ball meta. And yeah, if you want to share your team, throw it up on Twitter. I'm in other Discords. I haven't set up a Discord for myself yet. I've reserved one, but I'm not sharing it. It's not live. So probably the best way to share drafts is just still going to be Twitter. If you're on there, I know some people are not so interested in fantasy Twitter, but if you're out there, if you're tweeting, yeah, go ahead and tweet out that team, tag me in it. After this draft wraps up, I'd be happy to take a look. I could throw it on the screen. We can talk about that team if you want. It'd be fun. Just an idea. But thank you all for being here. Thanks for watching, joining me in the Fantasy Football Garage. Appreciate y'all being here, being active in the chat, talking football. That's what it's all about. Hey, if we're going to be out here drafting all summer, might as well stream it. So slap that like, hit the sub, turn on notifications if that's what you're about. Come draft with me or against me. Let's see what's up. Not one of us. Yeah, me one. What do I think of a Jonathan Mingo round 18?
Soldier boy, tell.
I like to think that there's a universe where Jonathan Mingo is not a complete bust. The probability that we're in that universe is slim. But Mingo in round 18, you're making a bet on a young player, a sophomore, a second-year breakout. He was, correct me if I'm wrong, 80 targets last season. Let's look it up. We also need to look up Isaiah Pacheco stats. Forgot to double check in on that earlier. So let's see, did I spell Isaiah right? I don't think I did. Pacheco, and will that even tell us? Pacheco had 9 touchdowns and Rashad White had 9. They both had 9 because me and my buddy, we're going to push our bet. We're going to continue it this season, I think. It's a $5 bet, so what do you expect? Who are we looking up? We were looking up Mingo. 85 targets, 43 receptions, 400 yards, no touchdowns, a couple terrible plays. He had a jumping catch, a sideline on the boundary, jumps, doesn't drag the feet, stomps out of bounds. Yikes. Doesn't look good optically, but no, you can find a way to make a guy like Mingo work on a team. Bryce Young goes, Will Levis goes. I could have played into Will Levis, so that's a bummer. Braylon Allen goes. On the clock, gonna take Carr. I don't have a good way to play through McCarthy, and I don't want to take naked McCarthy here. I can play through Carr. At least I've got Kamara, and I've got the bring back situation with Las Vegas. The bye week is not an issue. I hate this pick, but let's make it happen. Got sniped on Dak. Got sniped on Trevor Lawrence. Both of those quarterbacks on this team with Jaden Daniels would have been a lot more fun, but at the end of the day, I'm replacing an expensive pocket passer in Dak Prescott and a middle, somewhat expensive priced pocket passer in Trevor Lawrence with a very cheap pocket passer in Derek Carr. Although I literally was just saying how I don't like to draft Carr, I'd rather have the players around him. In this case, I don't have the players around him, I just have Carr. And there's no one left to draft. So that's all she wrote there. Let's look at running back. Take a running back before it comes back. Wide receiver, Devontae Walker's a fun click. McMillan, let's take one of those guys. I'm going to go with Devontae Walker. Just a player I want to get more exposure to. And a slight issue with the week 14 buys on the wide receivers, but because now I've got 8, I mean, geez, I've got 4 of them on buy at one time. At least it's not my top 3. They'll carry the load on week 14. Potentially Brian Thomas could be in the flex, or even Brock Bowers. If not, I don't have a single running back on buying week 14. Hey, throw in Zeke or Hubbard into my flex in week 14. I'll be just fine. Look how that ends up. I don't take a running back until pick 71. I don't take a second running back until pick 119. Hammer a few running backs in the middle that fall to me at value. Get Zeke at a decent value. That's exactly where I like to take Zeke. Late 30s, early 40s on a team that makes sense for him. I feel good. I could end with 5 running backs. I don't have a single running back here that is on the same bye week either. So let's see what happens. Do I take a third quarterback? Who would that be? How would it fit on this team? Could it be a Gardner Minshew? Maybe. Pair him up with Devontae Adams, Brock Bowers. Fingers crossed he makes it the whole season. He's another pocket passer. What are the odds that a pocket passer outscores Jaden Daniels? Well, if he does, he's going to need his best 2 receivers, a la Adams and Bowers, to really go off. Don't have Jacoby Myers on this team. Another player I was super high on last season, one of my top exposures last season. Let's make sure. I don't think I want to go with a 9th wide receiver here. And I definitely don't want another rookie wide receiver. If I'm counting up, thanks for the stream, says Dale. Appreciate you, man. Sniped on Walker. He correlated 2 playoff weeks for me. Oh, damn. Let me check that. Sorry, brother. Let's see. So I know what you're saying, because you've got Nico Collins, and you've also got the Miami, and you got some Browns. You've got KC. Yep. Devontae Walker would have been a good pick on your squad, no doubt. Jalen Tolbert is, I think, a fine pick there. Could get him in the 18th, but definitely a guy that, you get your guys in this range. To me, the difference between a pick in the 17th round and the 18th round, it's not about the ADP. It's about the team fit. Do you want to be done at wide receiver? You take him in the 17th. And then you have an option in the 18th for, okay, I'm done at wide receiver. I could take running back, tight end, quarterback. What's there? You can finish your tight end in round 17. It's kind of risky. Look how not a single tight end went in round 17 this time, but you have a couple quarterbacks go. Typically, that's the QB3 range. If you're waiting to take your second QB in round 17, you better have Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts, or be super confident in who you have. And the fact that you might get sniped. Someone might take an uncorrelated third QB at ADP value randomly in the 17th round, because I still think those quarterback ADPs, once you get past Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield, the ADPs don't make any sense and don't really matter. You're either taking a starting quarterback or you're not. And if you're taking, they get benched or they don't make it through the whole season, like a Russell Wilson. If you're taking a starting quarterback in rounds 15, 16, 17, 18, that's pretty much a very similar bet. And there's not a whole lot of difference in the value there. So take one of those guys. In my opinion, take one of those guys if he fits your team when you can. Don't always try to push him, because you're not really going to gain anything from pushing your QB2 an extra round when it's already around, past pick 170. Just a little wisdom there. I've gotten burned on QB2 more times than I can count. And so I'm trying to come around on that, do a better job of securing that QB2. Didn't work out great in this draft. I will say, though, could have been worse than Derek Carr. At least I've got Alvin Kamara and 2 bringbacks. Speaking of, there's a 0% chance that anyone takes Gardner Minshew. I could take him. It's a poodle. What's the worst thing that can happen? I don't know if I've drafted Minshew yet this season in any drafts. I'd have to think about that. I think I did have one team where I drafted him with Patrick Mahomes. What do you guys think? Is it a Minshew team? Is this a Gardner Minshew team? I don't think I have enough invested to make something work for Bo Nix, for Drake May. And as I'm speaking, I see the light. It's Justin Fields. He's the bailout pick. Justin Fields or Gardner Minshew. I don't care about any of these running backs. Or Alexander Madison. What should I do here? I don't know. I've taken a good amount of Justin Fields. I don't know that this is the team for him. Getting this 6th running back makes a little bit of sense. Fits in nicely against Derek Carr. Sucks to not have any of his pass catchers. Didn't want to take A.T. Perry. Didn't need another receiver. Could have gone Justin Fields. Could have gone Gardner Minshew. I like taking Fields anyways, but just wasn't the team for him. I'm gonna bet on the upside of Jaden Daniels, and then yeah. That is how that one goes. Let me jump on the Twitter machine real quick. Where's the link? See if Dale was saying, or no, it was Raphael was saying he drafted a sick team. Let's see if I got a team to review. I don't see anything in the DMs or posted, but that's cool. That's cool. If you're still here, if you want to post that team, we can take a look at it. If not, all good. We're going to wrap up the stream. Let's just review these last couple teams in that draft we were in on our last poodle. I misspoke. I'm through 7 poodles. Somehow I thought I was already through 8. Let's view the board. Anyways, our team ended up a 2-6-8-2, getting completely shut out from Dak Prescott and Trevor Lawrence. We pivoted into a Jaden Daniels, Derek Carr build. I feel pretty good about that, honestly, because I've got a QB with a lot of upside, rushing upside, and a rookie who could, be the highest fantasy scoring rookie quarterback this year. Could be a top 10 scoring QB. I think that's the upside potential. And then Derek Carr holding it down, giving us potential big spike week, but it's hard to see how that's really going to fit into my weeks 15, 16, 17 when I don't have Olave. It's going to really be the guy who goes off, I think. Alvin Kamara gives me at least some team level correlation, and pretty much the way I'm playing this is it's more about using Jaden Daniels, and like I said, missed out completely on Atlanta Falcons, so no bringbacks for my Washington team stack, where I went pretty hard and got Terry McLaurin and Luke McCaffrey way ahead of schedule. Didn't end up with any Jets, did I? No Jets to be seen, so didn't play off Dalton Kincaid exactly well. All right, but that's how it goes sometimes. And like I said, the running backs ended up being Alvin Kamara, Tyjae Spears, Zeke Elliott. Pairs up nicely. Zeke and CD. Grabbed Marshawn Lloyd. Also got a pretty good value on Zeke. Decent value on Tyjae Spears. Chuba Hubbard. just to give us a little bit of depth, Alexander Madison plays back into that Las Vegas New Orleans Saints correlation. Got Zeke, Lloyd, and Chuba on my last team. LOL. Yeah, that's what happens, I find. It's like, sometimes if I'm watching some streams or some content out there and I'm also drafting, I get influenced for sure. Or it's just a coincidence, but the more you see a guy get drafted, the more willing you are to take him there, which is why I'm a big proponent of taking correlated players for week 17 matchups, because it forces you to take guys you might not have drafted otherwise, like an Alexander Madison. And if he ends up being the guy you needed, then that's how you get him. That's how you get there. Get through that mental block or that hurdle to draft a guy you normally don't take. Like in my case, Chuba Hubbard here. Which makes me think maybe I could have gone Jalen McMillan with that last pick instead of Devontae Walker, play a little bit more into that Carolina game against Tampa Bay Bucks in week 17. And then for wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Adams, Devonta Smith, Terry McLaurin, Brian Thomas, Adonai Mitchell, Luke McCaffrey, Devontae Walker. Pretty strong up front. A lot of rookies to finish out in the back. Dalton Kincaid, Brock Bowers at tight end. Feels real strong. Let's count it up. One thing I like to do is count up rookies and sophomores, see what the balance is, make sure we didn't get an underwhelming amount, make sure we have enough upside, and then make sure we don't go overboard with the rookies and sophomores and kill our floor. Count them up. Jaden Daniels, Tyjae Spears, Marshawn Lloyd,
Soldier Boy, tell.
Brian Thomas, Adonai Mitchell, Luke McCaffrey, Devontae Walker, Kincaid, Brock Bowers. We got 9 rookies and sophomores, perfectly fine. Anywhere from 6 to 10 is the Goldilocks zone. Speaking of Goldilocks zone, I'm about to space out. I'm about to get out of here. Let's take a look at Off the Schneid's team real quick before we do that. Thanks for chilling in the chat, my man. Thanks for being here, chatting it along, drafting with us. Let's do a little team review. And let's bring it up. Let's select the drop down. Makes it a little bit easier. Love the badge and the avatar. Got the Mohawk 268-2 build from the 3 spot. Ends up with Mahomes and Purdy. Very solid at QB. Started with a hero RB build with Devon Achane. Waits a good while. Takes Chase Brown and Ty Chandler. I like both of those backs. Gets a Kamani Vidal. Grabs Braylon Allen, the man of the hour everyone's talking about on Twitter. Jets' new RB2. Finishes it up with CEH to pair with his Mahomes. That is a solid running back room. I think it's the right amount of draft capital. It's a lot of names I like, a lot of upside there. I think he played it well. Let's take a look at these wide receivers. Anytime you start off Tyreek Hill, Nico Collins, you're going to get an A grade from me. And then finishing it out strong. Pickens is a fun guy to draft. I don't have a ton of Pickens. Probably need to fix my exposure there a little bit. Maybe I'm anticipating the Steelers trading for Brandon Ayuk, so who knows. Rashee Rice, a great bet on KC, on Mahomes. I like taking Rice in the 70s. Get the exposure up. That's me. I'm risk on. Curtis Samuel, the next pick, decent. Ricky Pearsall is a good option if you miss out on the early San Francisco wide receivers. If you're anticipating either Debo or Ayuk to get traded, Pearsall becomes a much more relevant player. A great pick there. Marvin Mims is a fun pick. Jalen Tolbert is another guy that could have a breakout. And then Kittle and David Njoku. Got your tight end, your elite tight end stacked up at a super good value with Brock Purdy. And David Njoku is the Browns player, the bring back against the Tyreek Hill. Overall, this is a really solid squad. A good poodle draft in this room. Nice one, my man. Casey's team. What do you end up with, Casey Brown? Let's just do a quick one on his and we'll wrap this up and get out of here and space out for the night. Bijan, Jonathan Taylor, Kyron Williams, and I thought he might be going hyper fragile here. He takes 1-2 more running backs. He couldn't resist Roschon Johnson, but he grabs Ray Davis as well a little bit later. What did he do at wide receiver is the question. We know he went elite tight end and took Travis Kelce. Remember, he started Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, Deontay Johnson, Cortland Sutton, and then Josh Palmer, which when you also get Caleb Williams factored in, starts to look pretty attractive, a pretty good squad. He finishes it up with the other man of the hour everyone's talking about on fantasy Twitter, Dontavian Wicks, at, a fine spot to take him. Still going in for the massacre, the game, super game stacked into team stacked into the Bears, gets Cole Kmet. Do we see any Seahawks on this team? I don't see any Seahawks, so slight, small, tiny issue with going that hard on the Bears, not getting any Seahawks. Sometimes that's the way it falls. He takes Kirk Cousins at a value. Javon Baker, Rondale Moore, Craig Dortch. I guess I could have taken Rondale Moore over Devontae Walker. You live and you learn. Next time maybe I'll make that click. Or Jalen McMillan. It's a fun draft. I said I might double table it, get into a few more poodles, but I'm pretty good with how that went. I had a fun time chilling with the chat. Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for being in the stream. Have a good one. Thanks for being here, chilling tonight. What are we gonna send it off with? This one works. Catch y'all later. And have a great end of the weekend. Have a great evening. Thanks for being active in the chat and saying what's up. Appreciate y'all. Catch you next time. We'll see you back here soon. That's all I got tonight in the Fantasy Football Garage. We're spacing out.